Hello there everybody, and welcome back. Raphael Perry here again with some more computer game goodness for you all. I seem to not be playing Darkest Dungeon at the moment. I know, shocking. Well, I said I was going to play Senua, and I've been waiting days and days. I've been waiting over a week now to finally get the opportunity to play it. So I'm going to sit down and record a batch of episodes and release them, and hopefully it'll all be fun. And you know me, I like a bit of a ramble before I get started, so this is a game in which the main character is going mad. She's losing her mind over a period of time, and it's supposed to get worse as the game continues. And events are viewed from her perspective. Okay. Now, the developers have gone to a lot of effort to try and make this a very authentic experience. They've spoken to psychotherapists and psychoanalysts and people who've had various mental health issues and psychosis to try and make this a very accurate representation of how these things seem from the main character's point of view. Now, this immediately makes you think, I'm supposed to question everything, right? Believe nothing. I have no idea if what I see is genuine or if it's just in the character's head. But then I think that's kind of the point. You know, I think that's the intent of the game's creators. To put us in that constant state of questioning reality. Not to drive us crazy or anything, but to say, you know what? For people who have to experience this on a regular basis, this is what it's like, and you're having this experience with us. Now, originally, I didn't know a thing about this game, right? It's by some guys called Ninja Theory. I don't know what the theory is. The theory is that ninjas exist. There are ninjas. But here, look at this. Runes. Old Norse runes moving slowly in the background. And I know my Futhark, right? Well, it depends. If they used the Germanic Futhark, okay. If they used the Anglo-Saxon one, then God help me, because there's 33 of them instead of 24, and it's a right nightmare to remember. It's like, the thing is, after you get past the course 24, right, the other 9 are just extraneous and redundant in many cases, and you're just like, why did the Anglo-Saxons even add these runes? And then, of course, you get to the later Norwegian Futhark, where they pared it down to 16 runes, at which point it's not very functional, right? It loses some of its function, and you like have entire, vowel sounds and consonant sounds almost missing. It's not as good for communication. Now, of course, the runes are not just used for communication, they're used for divination as well. Well, no, they're not necessarily. I mean, people now think they're used for divination, but that's not necessarily. You get into the whole rune casting, rune stangs, nid stangs, and so on, and all that stuff. Now, this is going to be a problem for me, right? Because I am familiar with the runes and with some of their more common interpretations. I am now, before any of you jump to any conclusions, I'm aware of Ralph Blum. I'm aware that his interpretations are not the most accurate in the world. Yeah, so I'm aware of the whole blank rune what do you call it, controversy, where Mr. Bloom decided he wanted there to be a 25th rune and to be a blank rune because he was obsessed with multiples of 5, and there may or may not be a blank rune. There probably isn't, because it's just ridiculous. Like the blank hidden rune that no one knew about for thousands of years. No, it just probably isn't one. So I'm going to have to bear in mind that the game's creators have probably done a lot less research into rune lore than I have and are a lot less familiar with them. So I don't know what interpretations they're going to place on them. Alright, so here we have Perkanas, Lagus, Algis. Hagalas, Algis, Lagus, Hagalas, Algis, Otalas, But, yeah, and it's like, they could think they mean anything, right? We have Ewas or Iwas, depending on how you pronounce it, and Nordis. And of course, the runes all go by many names, and there's different interpretations associated with them. But the thing is, for the purpose of the game, the only interpretations that matter will be the ones the game's creators have fixated upon. And that might hurt me a bit, right? I might go like, hey, that's not right. You've completely twisted the meaning of that rune there, or that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to need to remember that this is their world. This is not reality. This is Senua's world, right? And she's supposed to be a Celt, so she shouldn't even be familiar with the runes. She should be like Ogham. You know, we have like these straight lines with little bits going off them. Yeah, because Ogham is like really, really horizontal, whereas the runes are all like all these strong vertical central stays in many cases. Actually, funny little thing, if you overlay all of the runes on top of each other, you get a snowflake. You literally do get a classic snowflake pattern. Yeah, so that's the ultimate bind rune in a way, which is actually ironic because every corner in the runes is an exact multiple of 60 degrees, and cracks in pavement are always in exact multiples of 60 degrees, and it occurs in nature many times, you know, so it's interesting. And of course, ironic that the snowflake, because they have runes, they're from the cold north where it snows a lot, right? So yeah, from what I understand, Senua is a Celtic woman. Oh yeah, so anyway, I was following some game that never got released called, oh god, what was it? I can't remember, but it was like a remake of Hexen, but the guys who made it decided to just ditch it to make their stupid Zombie Island game again, because they were being unimaginative and didn't want to make their swords fighting giant demons and skeletons game, which looked really awesome from all the preview videos and the stuff they showed off, but clearly very unfinished. And they just totally shelved it, ditched it, and came up with some pathetic half-assed excuse of, oh no, we haven't stopped working on it, it's just on hold indefinitely, which basically means they've stopped working on it. I mean, oh god, what was it? Was it Hellraid? That was it. Not Hellblade, but Hellraid. And yeah, so basically it's still on the shelf, so I imagine that it'll be like the Christmas party office joke where we're like, oh guys, we need some fresh ideas. Well, we could make Hellraid, you know, and they all have a bit of a laugh about it and laugh at all the fans who got really upset and are still pretty upset at them, actually. I was very into the idea of what they're making, and they weren't going to make it, but shortly before they cancelled it, I became aware of this wonderful game called Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, which we see here. And yeah, it's made by some guys called Ninja Theory, as I mentioned. I have no idea what they'd made before. Apparently they made some console games, and I was like, okay, well that's why I probably didn't hear of them. I don't own a console. But they have a very good reputation, and I liked the idea of the main character going mad and seeing the world through her eyes. I do have some concerns. Now, I know you're like, get on with it already! Do you guys want me to put a timestamp in the description so you know when to skip to gameplay if you want? I probably should, because this is quite an opening ramble. But yeah, so I got really excited. I started following the development, watching the developer blog videos, and I was really excited. I was like, damn it, when the time comes, am I going to buy this on Steam or on GOG? I'll have to wait and see what pre-order bonuses GOG has, and it turns out in the end the GOG pre-order bonus was exactly the same as the Steam one, but GOG were going to give me a few quid back for some for fair regional pricing, right? Because I was getting ripped off by the regional pricing that was demanded from them. And it's great that GOG do that, but in the end I went with Steam because I wasn't sure I'd be able to motion capture from the GOG version, and apparently I'm like a total Steam achievement whore, and that means a lot to me for some stupid reason. I have no idea why. I'm kind of like a completionist. I want to get the things and do the things, and I'm like, but if I'm not playing the Steam version, I won't see how many of them I still haven't got yet. Pathetic, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, followed the development a lot. I got really excited from my own experiences with mental illness. And yeah, I actually, when I was a student, one of the girls on one of my courses had a similar issue where she heard voices a lot, and her personality would go a bit weird sometimes. And you know what? Most of the time she was okay. We looked after her, we were good friends, and it wasn't a major issue. She didn't go around slaughtering people, at least maybe in her imagination she did. Maybe she was Senua. Maybe she was the inspiration for Senua. Who knows? Not going to name her or anything, because I don't know if she'd respect like that, or you know. So anyway, yeah, the past is the past. And before you were like, you're disrespecting some girl you knew a few years ago. No, it was like 20 years ago, guys. You know, so I hope she's okay now. You know. Now, in this game, there's going to be a lot of voices, right? Senua hears voices. Voices speak to her constantly. I gather they won't shut up. And I'm going to have to talk over the voices sometimes, okay? Otherwise, it'll just be like me sitting here playing the game silently, and you guys won't get any extra insight or meaning and stuff. And also, I'm going to be cutting this up into, you know, kind of shorter length episodes from the Darkest Dungeon episodes, in the interest of, you know, faster upload times. So just a quick look at menu and stuff. Oh, right, also this game has a thing. Apparently there's a big controversy. Well, we'll get into that later. But no. There's a controversy where apparently someone has said there's a message on load screens that says every time you die, the character gets more corrupted on the load screens, and if the corruption spreads all the way over her body up to her head, then all your progress is lost. And there's a lot of reports of people saying that's nonsense. They haven't been able to trigger anything where it deletes saves or something like that. And they don't know if it's just a joke by the creators, if it's a buggy feature that wasn't implemented, or whatever it is. So I'm not going to go out of my way to try and make that happen. If it happens, it happens. We'll just see what happens as a player go along. Right, options. Right, I'm going to go over a few of it. Right, so graphics. Yeah, my screen is a crappy screen. It doesn't go very big. Oh well. Right, gamma. So here's an odd one. Adjust the brightness until the image below is barely visible. This one barely gets any darker, look. Look, I can still see that quite clearly. But there is another one here on the left. I can take it down to about here, at which point I can see some trace of it around the edge there, and a little bit of that inner ring here. And actually a little bit of Triscale as well, but I know YouTube darkens things, so I'm going to brighten it up to about here, because that way it's pretty reasonable. This may be too dark for you guys, I hope it isn't. As for controls, there's no way in hell I'm going to remember all these, right? I don't play fighting games very often. I don't know if it is a fighting game, it might be like a mystery game or a puzzle game. Hopefully it's a madness game. Run toggle, I'm hoping that's just this run key, left shift. Invert camera y-axis, no, I'm not a trained aeroplane pilot. I have no reason to want that. Vibration. I hope that's camera vibration. I hope it's not some kind of weird console controller vibration, because I don't have one of those. I'm just playing keyboard and mouse. Right. WASD for movement. Focus is E. I'm not sure what focus is. Would that be to select a target, like a Dark Souls choose targets thing? Interact is F. Run is left. So fast strike, left mouse. Heavy strike, right mouse. Melee attack, F. So what is the difference between a melee attack, a fast strike, and a heavy strike? I don't know. And I really want to know, and I'm going to forget the F keys even involved in combat. Evade, so that's dodge, it's going to be spacebar. Oh, it's going to be a bloody dodging game, isn't it? I hate dodging games. Just let me use a bloody shield and armor. It works better. Sort of, in theory, a little bit. Well, armor works in certain ways. Block is left control, so that's right over there on the keyboard. That, they really want me to predominantly use the keyboard for this. Like, we're talking sort of like a Severance Blade of Darkness kind of deal here. Change target, mouse side buttons. I'm going to have to remember which ones. Well, I'll fiddle with it and see. So basically, I'm going to forget most of these, but I'm going to try. Okay? So basically, if I'm... So it's basically going to be like WASD middle three fingers, ring finger and little finger by shift and control, and then thumb by the spacebar, probably. Also, I habitually call this game Senua instead of Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice. Anyway, I better dive in right now. Because I'm probably reaching a kind of maximum episode length, which is pretty pathetic for an initial episode. So here we go. Also, this game is best experienced with headphones, so please wear headphones if you have them. Go get them now, pause the video, come back in a few seconds. But do pause it, you don't want to miss anything. You got headphones? Good! And those of you who haven't, well, okay, you were warned. I'm playing with headphones. Ooh.
Hello. Who are you? Doesn't matter. Welcome. You're safe with me. I'll be right here, nice and close so I can speak without alerting the others. Let me tell you about Senua. Her story has already come to an end, but now it begins anew.
Is that a head? That's a mummified head.
It's breathing. The head. It's breathing. It's breathing. He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer.
She thinks it's breathing.
They're watching. They're watching. They're watching.
This is a journey deep into darkness.
She's seeing the voices.
There will be no more stories after this one.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this? They're watching. Why doesn't she know coming? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already dead. I can feel you coming. Quiet.
What is that on her right hip?
Oh, how rude of me. I never told you of the others. You hear them too, right? They've been around ever since the tragedy. Well, that's not quite true. Some are old, some are new.
Is she seeing the credits as well?
Changed.
That really would drive her
I think the
mad.
darkness changed them, just like it changed her.
Can you
Is that a
see them?
raven? A crow?
Why isn't
Hugin and Munin, perhaps?
Why aren't you looking? He's in hell high.
Look, up ahead.
Hell high.
Wait,
You see it too?
hell?
You promised you can.
Yes.
No, the road to hell
It
is
is
nine
real after all.
nights right to the north and then down.
She's finally arrived
Nothing to
in
do
the
with
land of
rowing.
mist and fog. The place the Northmen call hell.
Interesting.
Turn back. Go back. Go back. It's not safe. Go back. Go back. Go back. It's not safe.
You know, it is starting to feel fairly unsafe. I'm feeling a slight urge to turn around. Not just because of the bodies. Perhaps we should think of me as another voice in Senua's mind.
Look around and you'll see them. The drowned, the sick.
Would that drive the audience bonkers? I hope not.
Here they lie, rotting in the fields and rivers of hell. But the dead don't always lie still here. This is not a place of rest.
Can't do this. Go back. Go back.
There's a body there in the water.
They're going to do that to you. Can you see them? Can you see them? They're going to do that to you.
Is that J? Yeah, Jitik. Jitik.
They're watching. Stop. Can you feel them watching? They're watching her. They're watching her.
They're all watching her pass into their territory.
Can you feel it?
All the bodies watching. Wait, it's looking a bit too shallow given the... Is there something coming behind me to the right?
What is she
It sounded
thinking?
like it. Sounded like something moved into the water.
She's afraid. Wouldn't you be?
Another body floating.
You'd think she would get used to it by now after so many years. But the darkness, It just builds onto itself, growing stronger, towering over her. You might try and ignore it, turn away. But it's always there, just out of sight, where you're most vulnerable. It's like it knows that just enough light is all you need to see its suffocating power.
If one of those bodies drops right now, just... No, it's too late for it to have maximum dramatic effect now. It needed to fall right in front of the log she's on. Is it on a log? Wait, can I move the camera? Like, I can! Oh! It won't go up and down much, and I can't move it much if I want it to remain focused on the
You
path
might think she's brave
ahead.
to go on this journey on her own. But it isn't bravery that drives her. Bravery only means something to those afraid of death. Senua's fear runs far, far deeper.
I believe that's supposed to be the head of her lover, or her cousin or uncle or something. And wait, this is land. She's going to be getting out soon. Okay, so this is going to be the part where I completely bollocks up the controls. I presume
What is she looking at?
I'll be getting control soon.
What is she leaving behind? I know what she's thinking.
Okay, that sword
I hear her thoughts.
is a mixture.
It's not too late to get into the boat and go back. No one will judge her. No one will ever know. Oh, she heard us.
See that slight snarl
There's
there?
no going back.
You can't do it.
Senua pushes away a world that conspired to cause so much suffering. There's nothing to go back to, and worse to look forward to. Why don't you join us? Maybe you too have a part to play in this story.
I believe now I've been given control, and whoa, those bodies are close. Does she look around as I... Yes, she does. Hooray! She looks where the camera looks. Okay. I thought Vlad the Impaler was Romanian, not Viking. So yeah, there's going to be some interest. There's going to be a lot of anachronisms here. Like this sword, for example, this sword. The pommel has a very Celtic look to it, with the kind of horn thing, with the double-headed serpent there. It's more like dogs, isn't it? But it's also, because it's done like a crescent moon, like a C, that's more sort of Roman-looking. The quillen, the crossguard, is basically more of a Viking or Anglo-Saxon sword crossguard. The length of the sword makes it more like a Roman cavalry spafer. Can I zoom in? No, I can't zoom in that with a mouse. The camera distance is fixed. Did it get closer by accident? No, I don't know. The woad markings, I can't say how authentic they are, but I should probably end the episode soon. She's definitely got a head. Now, I think that's going back to like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons first edition, because I literally haven't found any other source of this. Claims of the Celts taking a severed head and soaking it in a pit of lye for days or even months on end, and then hurling it at their enemies. Well, no, it would have to be at people who knew the person the severed head was from. You know, it would be the particular group of enemies. It wouldn't just be a generic thing. It would be like, you know, I have taken the head from a man of this tribe. When I next fight this tribe, I will hurl this head at them, and it will cause fear and shock and dismay. So, her eyes are a little wide and unfocused. She's very fragile looking. Yeah, she's got a narrow jaw, and I wish I could get a better... well, you know, kind of slender face, delicate, not a very pronounced bone structure. You know, slender frame, and yet she is probably going to be fighting with this sword. So I don't think she's necessarily physically very weak, but the appearance kind of matches her emotional frailty. And actually, right, she doesn't even need to look like this. Oh yeah, that thing on her hip. That is that supposed to be a... No, could it be a mirror? I think it's a mirror. Because it's too flat to be a water bottle. A hand mirror? Yeah. So this could be how she sees herself in her current emotional state, right? Okay, I'm going to try moving a little bit. Obviously they want me to go to that stone there. But for now... Oh, she walks? Let's walk over here. I imagine the majority of these bodies here are going to be very samey, but in different poses. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I have a big concern about this game, that it's going to be like another game that I haven't played, but I've seen people play, called Rise, Son of Rome, or Rice, Son of Rome. Because they never say it in the entire game, and there's no character in the game called that, so you have no idea how to pronounce it. It's a fighting game strung together by badly put together little bits of story that don't even make sense. You get to kill a Roman emperor who didn't even die that way. The main character gets killed off, then resurrected by a goddess who wasn't even part of the Roman pantheon, that no one's ever even heard of before, and the whole thing was just terrible, and it just basically involved fighting the same 3 enemy models for the entire game, over and over. Well, no. Let's see. There was Celt. There was Big Celt. There was Romans to fight against. Then there were like 2 types of gladiator in the arena, so that's actually 5. And then and then like 1 named enemy. Oh yeah. In that game, Boudica came and invaded the city of Rome. She never even left Britain. Terrible. So I have a horrible feeling that the enemies in this game are going to suffer from a lack of visual variety. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe the main character of each of these games is a racist, right? Perhaps... Wait, this layout of boards looks a little more... Oh, that looks a little anachronistic. I'm not sure it should be quite so regular. So, you know, maybe they just don't see the details. They don't look at the enemies that much. They're like, this is a different culture. They all look the same to me, right? And because we're seeing the game from this character's perspective, these plants are really nice, by the way. These are very nice. They might be a little over-animated. Or maybe she's paying too much attention and they look over-animated to her. I really should stop questioning the reality. No, I should go pay attention to that stone. That looks like a rune stone, actually, but the hole in the middle looks suspicious. But yeah, so if the enemies are varied, it may be forgivable because she's going mad and seeing it all in her head, and it's like, why am I fighting the same people again? It's because you're not paying attention, dear. You know. Anyway, what I'm going to actually do, because this episode's been running a little bit on the long side because of my ridiculous pre-game gamble, is I've got to estimate... Oh no, stuff it. Look, I'll interact with that stone. I strongly suspect I need to interact with it. I'll then bring up a menu, I'll pause, I'll stop the video, and start the next one straight away. I'm going to do like a whole batch in a row, because I've got a few hours tonight to myself, and it's going to be glorious, right? Yeah. So Willow. Okay. The rune of the sun, of health, of energy. There's no, it can be a number of things coming together, things complete.
Use your eyes. Come closer. She can't
Or
focus. Why can't she focus?
it can also be incomplete, because we can also talk about runes and reversing runes and whether it can be reversed or not. There's a whole load of different lines of thought on that. That brooch at least looks very Celtic. Oh god, for a moment there I thought she suffered from backwards belt buckle syndrome, which is evil and stupid and wrong and people should be killed for it. She might still suffer from backwards belt buckle syndrome, actually. That is a major problem. That's going to piss me off no end if she does. I wonder if I can increase the details, because it looks like a slightly low resolution. Things look a bit blurry and pixelated. I'll have a look at options menu in between episodes, but for now, yeah. Oh yeah, that's looking like a runestone. Alright, look at all those beautiful details there. It's almost like grapes. It's like the old Norwegian wooden churches. Gorgeous stuff. Now, can I... E? Focus. I see you.
Do not forget my stories, Senua. Because your darkness comes from hell, and your fate lies there. They say the burning of a corpse will take you straight to Hela's gate, but gods and the living will follow this path. You must leave the Isles of Orkney across the eastern sea and find a road that leads north and down through deep, dark valleys. After 9 nights of riding, you will follow a great river and will find a bridge covered in gold. The path to Helheim goes from there, across the river of knives that flows from the dark world of Niflheim.
9 nights to the north, and then down. What did I say? I like it. So... Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay. Wait. Or similar... Wait. Betrai us unmask. Wait, is that supposed to be betray? No, that's yeah. Well, no, it would be. Yeah. So betray us, unmask, fear, unmask fear, seek Hela's truth in mirror. And she's got a mirror here on her hip. But see, in mirror, gods betray us, seek truth in mirror. That looks like the Germanic Futhark. I should be fairly okay with this game. So that's just translating the runes, starting from here. Gebo, Otalas, Degas, or Dagas, Sawillo, so that's gods. Yeah, so gods betray us, seek truth in mirror. Can I use the mirror? I cannot. Can I?
Do not forget my stories, Senua.
No, I can't use the mirror.
Because your darkness comes from hell.
Oh, it's going to play the whole thing.
Lies there. They say the burning of a corpse will take you straight to Hela's gate, but gods and the living will follow this path. You must leave the Isles of Orkney across the eastern sea and find a road that leads north and down through deep, dark valleys. After 9 nights of riding, you will follow a great river.
Oh, the head! Orkney! The severed head! Yes!
The path to Helheim goes from there.
There was a Viking king of Orkney who was fighting against the Scots, and in battle he hacked off the head of a foe and hung it on his hip as a trophy, and as he was riding around the battlefield, the teeth of the severed head rubbed against his thigh so many times they actually caused an infected wound and he died of it. It was like, what, King Olaf IV of Orkney, I think? Yeah! The severed head, and she's from Orkney. Classic. Brilliant stuff. Okay, well look. What was that? Alright, I'm just going to bring up the menu. And with that, I'm going to pause here. Is there a save game feature? There doesn't seem to be. Interesting. Exit to main menu. Will it save if I... Anyway, I'm going to stop here, take a little break, start recording the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this initial video, and I'll be bringing up the next one soon. Oh, also, updates are going to be a little slow over the upcoming weekend because I'm going to be away for significant portions of the weekend, so I won't be able to update then. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll say bye-bye for now, and see you all in the next one. Cheerio!